It's the Soul Fantasy Show. Soul Fan Show. Hey, it's the Soul Fantasy Show live for May 11th, 2021. Going over the top picks, plays, and studs for Draftkings and Fanduel. If you already haven't, please subscribe to this channel. So, just looking at these guys right here. Luka Doncic is the top priced and watch stud. He's on 76, 1.59 fantasy points per game. Stephen Curry is a force to reckon with. 65, 53, and 59, 62. He's a monster. Stephen Curry is a soul stud of the day. Possible MVP. I don't know if he's going to get it, but he could. He's definitely in play. Warriors. Then under him is Mr. Poole. 20, 23, 25, 4,400 about. All right. So you got that. We got Kyrie Irving, 41, 72, and 61. His last three. 7,800 Chris Paul, LaMelo Ball, same price as usual. Drew Holiday, Terry Rozier. All right, 8,100 Mr. Wright. He's getting a fantasy point per minute. Going to get you around 30 for 81K. That's a little high for only 30 fantasy points. So for the same amount of money, a little bit less, you could put in John Morant or Russell. By the looks of it, Wright's going to have himself a game. Yeah. So he did have those. He did a 55 and 55.3 2 nights in a row. So be on the lookout for him. He might smash this slate out. So we have Ben Simmons, the soul sleeper of the day. He's going to bounce back. He might slap a 50 on you out of nowhere. He does it. He does it. He does it. Maxey. Definitely not in play for 4K. He had 40 fantasy points. He's not going to do it again. No, he is not. Don't trust in the Maxey. Thibault is out. Well, with Thibault out, Maxey could be viable. That's probably why he's in there. Shake Milton, 4,300. We got LaMelo Ball, 8,700. All right, he's getting 1.3 fantasy points per minute, averaging about 37. Dylan Wright, you got him up there, like I was saying. These are some of these good players. All right, now the best shooting guards, the most watched ones, I like a lot. Paul, he's in. 34, 39, 41. It'll get you 40 fantasy points. He's a little expensive. 8,900. It's a little bit expensive for Paul. He's worth paying up for. He's been coming through. He's getting 45 fantasy points. That's a good amount of fantasy points for what he's paying. If you can find values, you can throw George in. Paul George. I said Chris Paul. I think I said Chris Paul. Chris Middleton. Drew Holiday. Booker. Booker's always hot. 8,200. These guys are expensive today. They're priced up. Priced appropriately. Tyler Hero had that 40 for 5,000. If he gets 40, he's good to go, but he might just get you 24. You can look at this gentleman right here for 5,300. He's firmly in play. Dante Diavanci, the Da Vinci Code, getting a fantasy point per minute with an easy Orlando matchup. Brunson, Curry, all right. And here's some other guys you can think about in order. Wiggins is 6,900. He'll get you 30 fantasy points. Dort is dealing with tendonitis in his knee. He probably will be out. So if he's out, you can put this gentleman in for 3K. Yes, this is a good play right here. He's a soul sleeper of the day. Savaskis Malaskas. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce his name. And Gary Trent's down there. We have Luka, Kevin Durant, 9,900. He had 66 fantasy points. The Nets are pretty darn good. 8,300 for 42. Porter Jr. been smashing it. Tobias Harris, only 7,200. That's pretty good. He hasn't been getting much over 30 fantasy points, but tonight he's projected about 37, so he's going to pay off, and that's a good price tag. Gordon is only 4,800 because he's been putting up goose eggs. Danny Green, 4,400. He's always good to throw in there. Gabriel is on deck with that 21 fantasy points. All right. The Greek Freak. Freaky the Greek. 48, 47, 60, 75. He is 10,900. He's more than Sabonis. He's 100 on here, getting 1.72 fantasy points per minute. He's going to get you 55 fantasy points. You know what you get when you get him. He will pay off today, though. So if you want to spend up for him, that's fine. Now, Sabonis has been really hammering fantasy a lot. He's been really strong. He's 1.36 fantasy points per minute, average, getting projected to about 50 with 5 times value. His chance to hit the 5 times value is 41%. It's a pretty good percentage. Yeah. So, good pace. Everything's solid with him. He's healthy as a horse. Kevin Durant, we talked about. Jason Tatum was cold, so you could probably fade him right on out of there for that 9,700. But when I say that, he's going to be fire, so don't fade him. Look, he was cold a couple nights ago, 24 fantasy points. If he gets that, you're screwed. But if he gets 50, you're all right. He has had that 82 recently. Is he going to do that? We don't know. He's off and on. He's hot and cold. He's a risk. He's worth putting in. But for 9,700, you can put Durant in. And you know Durant's been hot. You know, I'd rather play Durant than over Tatum. Yes, sir. All right, here's some other guys. All right. This is a big slate. So here's the centers. Real quick. Nikolai Jokic is 11,000 solid. The highest priced player on the slate. 44, 57, 64. Here's his numbers. Going way back. He does something nice every time. Here is his stats. Turnover 14. All right, he's really good to go. Dude, play that man. Fook, 10-3, 56, 59, 61. Jokic, Fook, both good. Both good plays. Karl Anthony Towns, good to play. Joel Embiid, good to go if he plays. Knee injury, but we'll take the court for that. So he's in. Joel Embiid is playing. He's 100. He has an easy matchup, and he's getting 1.68 fantasy points per minute. 50 projected fantasy points for 10K. Now, you save 1,000 by putting him in over Jokic. I would do that. Joel Embiid, sometimes when he's nursing an injury, he'll come back slow the next day, but he's going for an MVP title as well, so he's going to be fire. You got these guys down here. If you want to try them out. These are the low-end centers. Very low-end. Harold, 4,400. He used to be very expensive, but he doesn't do anything. Naz Reid, 4,300. Cheap. It's good. He might get 30, close to 30 for that 4,300. Dwight Howard has his good games, and he doesn't always have a good game, but he has a lot of good games. He's definitely worth playing. Look at these guys here. We showed you the centers. These are the guards. Steph Curry is the sole stud of the day for 10K, 50 fantasy points. That's all I'm throwing in. 69. 6-9. Here's some lineups. All right, now we're going over these lineups. Throw them in. We're going to go over some single lineups and some FanDuel lineups for you after this. So we're going to see what we hit for. All right. This is the main slate. It's 11 games. I will go over these littler slates. Turbo. Just so you can see. So you might want to do that. 7:30. 8. There's an 8. Let's get all these in for you. Just because you might not just play the main slate. And here's the late night lineups. Derek Rose. With these guys we have not seen yet. We haven't seen these guys. I don't like Randall. Wiggins. Nah. Holmes I would probably put in because we saw him. There's Curry. Put Curry in. Get Rose out. Payton. Alright. Terrell Davis we can get out. Did Ty Jerome? Yeah, this one's tough. Wow. This is tough. There's not a lot of choice here when you're throwing these studs in there. So you can just do this. Whatever. So here's some singles. Alright, ending the video soon. We'll do a little bit of FanDuel at the end. For the very end of the video. Alright, let's get on to the FanDuel lineups. Here we go. FanDuel. Main slate, 11 game slate, guys. I'll do 15 lineups. About 15. You can upgrade. Simmons, you can go to Morant, but we think Simmons is going to have a good game. Curry, Ball. We saw they kept putting him in there, so we're going to leave George in there. I was going to say Josh Richardson or Danny Green is right there. Hope. Tobias Harris. I really wanted to put... See, I couldn't put Mobama in, but you can put Joel. PJ Washington? I'd rather play Tobias Harris over PJ Washington. That's it. They have that one main slate in these singles. Living single. Philadelphia is playing Indiana. And I'm pretty sure Philadelphia's going to destroy them. They are the #1 power ranked team right now, Philadelphia. So anybody you put in with Philadelphia is going to do good. They're going to pay off for you. Not anybody, but, you know, the guys you research and put in. All right, it's the Soul Fantasy Show. Soul Fan Show.